So welcome. Um, this is the first and inaugural podcast that I just kicked off, man. So I want to first of all welcome y'all to the Intro Entre Podcast. Um, it's been a long time coming, man. I'm BJ. I'm your host. Um, and the dope part about my podcast is I interview beautiful people, just like this gentleman right here, uh, to come and educate and tell a story about entrepreneurship, about what they have going on in space, and and try to educate and help the next generation, get a clue to what's going on, man. I am a new entrepreneur. I am a very strong believer in something else. And what do I mean by something else? I mean, the traditional ways are dead. The day of the Geechee is over. So what I want to do is help get people the understanding that you don't necessarily have to go to college. It's cool. I'm not bashing college at all. But I want to give people the understanding of different businesses, different streams of income that you can do besides going to college, besides going in the military, besides, just having a traditional 9 to 5. My job is to help educate and bring other people to help tell the story to help other people. So my guest today is the listen, I have a bunch of stories for this guest here today, but I'm gonna save it to the end because I want to give him the chance to kind of introduce himself. But Troy Spry, welcome to the first. Listen, this is my true homie, man. I love this guy. He is the first person to say, "Get off your ass, BJ, and let's get this thing going, man." What's up, Troy?
What's up, BJ?
Man, listen, man. How you doing,
Well,
brother?
I'm good, man. I'm so proud of you, man, for taking a little leap of faith and jumping out and saying, I'm just gonna do it, man. I'm just gonna do it. So I'm happy to be the first guest.
The first, man. It wouldn't have been right if I didn't have nobody but you, man. Listen, I couldn't have did it without you, man. This
Hey,
is
man, that's what we here for as brothers, man.
you, my brother, man. I love you, man. So before, like I said, I got a whole little thing that I want to tell you later. But if you could just give people, your name and tell them, what it is you do in the entrepreneurial space.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So my name's Troy Spry. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina, but I am a certified dating and relationship coach, but I'm also a speaker and an author of the book, Teach Me How to Love While What You Don't Know Will Hurt You. So what I tell people in terms of entrepreneurship, I just generate streams of income based off the content I produce and the people that I serve, right? And so I would say my mission is simple. Better people create better mates, which creates better relationships and builds better communities. So that's at the core of what I do and why I do it. I just find different ways of doing it and just monetize those ways as well. So that's kind of me in a nutshell, brother.
And that's dope, man. Listen, I know you personally, so some of the questions might sound like redundant or like, oh, BJ, you already know that. So, but I'm gonna ask them in the point of view of the people that are looking at this pod, man. So, you said you wrote a book. Listen, I tore my house up, and I cannot believe I can't find a copy of your book. So,
Don't worry, I got it.
listen, but I should have it. I can't believe I don't have a copy of your book. So first of all, you got me as another, I'm gonna buy at least one copy. Hopefully I get a signed
Oh yeah,
from the master, from the man.
yeah.
So I need that, man. I could not believe that. Your
Hey, man,
boy.
it's all good. As long as you read it a long time ago, then it's
Listen.
all good.
So tell me what got you thinking of wanting to write a book, man, because that's not a light task. That's something that you had to put some thought into, man. So tell me about that.
Yeah, man, it's funny. I've always said that I wanted to be an author for some reason. It's I remember in like high school. Now, mind you, I've always been a writer at heart,
Yeah.
but I was not writing books. I was writing like poems, right? So when I was a young fella, I was writing love letters and love poems. I've always been interested in writing. I love it. I
Yeah.
remember a teacher telling me, a long time ago that she just enjoyed my writing and she thought I would go far with writing, right? And so since that day, I was like, I'm gonna write a book one day. I'm gonna write a book one day. I never knew what it would be about.
Yeah.
Just frankly, I used to have in high school. There was I was like, you remember the Kings of Comedy,
Yes, I love that.
right? And remember the part where I said it was talking about a grown ass man, dog. And
Yep.
I always said I was gonna write a book called Grown Ass Man,
Volume 2.
Volume 2, right? But for some reason, God, gave me the gift of relationships, right? And dating and
Yes.
relationships and helping people become better as couples and stuff.
Great gift you have too.
Yeah, man. And so for me, that's what inspired the book. You see what I mean? Now, mind you, I was writing like blogs. So I was writing blogs for like major publications like Jet Magazine and Black and Married with Kids and Paul C. Brunson, and I was a guest blogger at like the Steve Harvey at like the Success Conference. Like there were a lot of these digital romance, all these different places. I was writing blogs for them, so creating content.
So don't just throw that out like that's something normal, man. Come on now. First of all, I gotta give you a round of applause for that, man. Listen, can you go back? And I know that was some time ago, but can you go back and kind of explain to the viewers like how'd you get involved with these major publications?
Oh yeah, man. So it's a lot of it's God, right? So
yes,
and it's really word of mouth as well, but it takes some action on yourself. So I had my own blog called Exclusive Thoughts, which I still have, right? I was writing content, and then that started to kind of go out to the universe, the social media universe, and it started to grow, right? But then what I found was that a lot of publications had guest blogging opportunities, right? Where you could write for them. That was a way for them to get content, for you to get exposure.
Yes.
So I started writing some of these publications, right? And someone was like, I would submit a blog, and someone would say, "Yeah, we like this one." They put it in their publication. You see what I mean?
That's
and
dope,
so
man.
I didn't know that, though. I didn't know those opportunities really existed. So I just started researching. You know what I mean?
So I think that's a big gem that you just dropped, man. A lot of people don't understand that, hey, you need to start reaching out to people. People are not just going to automatically reach out to you. Hey, you might be the best blogger in your mind, but you got to do the research and see how you can get involved with these major publications. And listen, one thing I understand is people need exposure, not just people. These publications need exposure. They want the point of view from people that are in that space. So listen, you dropped the gem, and I hope somebody picked that up, because listen, I've always wanted to write a book. What type of book? I don't know. I don't know that yet, but I'm always a believer in, I can't be a rapper. So my voice won't ever be solidified on wax. But if I pen something, I will live forever, man. I will live forever. So was that something that was in your mind while you were writing this book?
Oh, absolutely. So that's one thing I thought about. And when I say live forever, it was two things, right? Number one, the content and the values of the content will live through generations, right? So I started thinking about that, like what could I write that could impact the community in a major way, right?
Yeah.
But the second part of it is now my daughter can eat off that book forever.
Yeah, forever.
Right? So
there's generational
that come with that. And so is it a huge amount? No. But you know what? It's enough to generate revenue for her.
Exactly.
So she could take over that if she needed to. So I thought about it definitely from both of those angles for sure.
Yes. So I listened to a podcast, and I'm a shout out Drink Champs right now with Nori and DJ EFN, and they always ask a question, and I'm gonna relate the question to you and your process. So the question that they ask their guests, they always ask the former rappers and the former entertainers, would you rather go with a indie label or a major label? So relating that back to you and writing your book, did you go to a major label and say, hey, I have this book that I want to write. Can I get money up front for this book and then, write it? Or did you do everything yourself?
Yeah, did everything myself. So I self-published the book. right?
Self-publish. Yeah. Can you walk through that
Self-published.
process of
Yeah,
what a self-publishing book entails?
yeah, absolutely. It's actually a route that most people are, or not most, a lot of people are going, especially if you're not like some famous person. You
Yeah.
see what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't take me as much money up front to do a self-publishing book, and I can market it on, on my own, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
So when you think about self-publishing, the first thing is you got to create the content, right? So
Mhm.
you write the book, you have it ready, but then you got to deal with the logistics of that. So the logistics is you got a book, but
Yep.
do you have ISBN, right? Which is, and do you have a barcode put on the back of it, right?
Mm.
Did you copyright that book, right? So did you go and get that copyrighted? Did you have that book edited? Did you
Mm.
have it formatted? Did you, who's going to create the graphics for you, for the book? You
Yeah.
see what I mean? So those are like some of the logistical processes of it. So you also think about it. You created the content, you wrote the book, you got all the logistics together, but then you have to I published one through what they call Create Space at the time, but I think it's KDP, but it's through Amazon,
Mm.
right? So I just published the book through Amazon.
Mm.
Now, mind you, publish through Amazon, they're going to take their fees
The
whenever,
percentage. Yeah.
they're going to take their percentage, but I could always take these same books, order bulk copies of it, right? Wholesale, order bulk copies of it, and then send them off to myself. So I do
Yep.
that sometimes too. You
Yep.
see what I mean? So that's the self-publishing part. Now, the third part of this process, though, is, and this is the hardest part, is the marketing of the book.
The marketing. And I love, thank you, because that was going to be my next question. Go ahead and jump into that.
Yeah. So that is the toughest part. Anybody can write a book,
Yeah.
right? Because that's really self-based, right? It's like you just got to take the time to do it. But when it comes to marketing stuff, man, you got to give people a reason to buy, and you have to build an audience that wants to hear what you got to say
Yeah.
and wants to
Exactly.
read what you wrote. And that's not an easy task. You see
Mm-mm.
what I mean? Like, so what I learned was that first couple hundred copies is easy, right? Because people
It
and
was your
people,
friends,
yeah, friends
family.
and people
Yeah.
excited and all that. But then how do you get the rest of the people,
Mm.
what I mean, to buy? And so I learned like the marketing of the book just takes consistency, man. Like you gotta be extremely consistent at building community,
Mhm.
right? And then feeding that community consistent content and then asking them to buy from you.
So
That's the
what would you say was the I don't want to say the easiest, but what is the most consistent piece of content, or your way of getting your content out to the people to build your community?
Oh, absolutely. It's for me, it's just social media.
Mhm.
So it's Facebook, it's Instagram,
Mhm.
right? I started some TikTok stuff,
Yes,
recently.
TikTok.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But I think the other key is the email community, right? As you
Mm.
collect. So one thing I did was I put like a lead driver on my website, right? So I
Oh,
would
okay.
give you a free copy of the ebook if you signed up for the email list, right? And then you nurture people through email. So then you call them click funnels,
Click
right?
funnels. Yeah, sales
Yeah, so you
funnels.
got
Yep.
sales funnels. And you click, you feed content. You give them stuff. They call it nurturing, right? You
Yeah.
nurture that audience, and then you give them an offering. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how I get most of my community built for sure.
That's dope, man. I don't know if a lot of people understand the legwork that has to be put in to generate leads and to build a community. But that, I see it firsthand of what you do. I'm Troy all day because
Hmm.
I'm your supporter. I'm the biggest supporter. But if you're starting from zero,
Hmm.
what would be a gem that you can give the audience of like how to start to build? My opinion, your first, like you said, 100 is going to be your friends, your family,
Hmm.
things of that nature. But let's say, I've tapped out of my friends, I've tapped out of my family. I don't have any money, so I don't get no family out the woodworks.
Hmm. Hmm.
But how do you get involved with being on panels or jumping on pods, or just getting your message out after that first 100 people? Is it just going live, or like what would be a gem you can drop on people?
The first thing you have to do is get clear on who you're serving and why.
Mm, mm,
Okay, so that's a lot of people. They all over the place, right? They got so many different ideas that no one can know. What are you established as an expert in a space,
yeah.
right? And the way you establish yourself as an expert in a space, number one, you got to have more knowledge than everybody else in that space. Then you got to consistently give content that solidifies you as an expert, right? And then you got to be able to speak on that content and write about that content, right? So for me, if you're just starting out, the main thing is getting very clear on who you're serving and why, right? And once you understand that, now you can create content that serves that community. And when you create content that serves that community, you become an expert, right? If you got good
Automatically.
content,
If you
if you
have
got
great
quality
content,
content, man, that's
yes.
the key. You got to have quality content consistently. That's the key word, consistently, so that people know. I think about what a personal brand is, right? So a brand, to me, to simplify a brand is an expectation. Okay, and so for a brand is an expectation, what do people expect to come to you for? Right? What do they expect? If BJ, like, I'm gonna get new starting entrepreneur knowledge.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
You see what I mean? And if people can identify that, then they come to you for it and you serve it to them consistently. So that's how you start to build a community, because then people tell other people, hey, go follow them. Hey, go follow them. Oh, you having trouble dating? Go follow Troy. You having trouble in your relationship? Go follow Troy. Oh, you having trouble starting your entrepreneurship journey? Go follow BJ.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see what I mean? That's how you build that community. Next thing you know, you got this community of, let's just say, and people get this wrong all the time, BJ. Your community doesn't have to be humongous. They just have to be active, engaged with you. Actively engaged with you. And this is where people like to get worried about the numbers. They're like, oh, do you have,
I gotta have 100,000 followers. Yeah.
None of
But
that.
out of that 100,000, how many are engaged in what you're talking about?
How many are engaged? How many would comment? How many would support you?
Exactly.
How many would pass you on to someone else? That's what really matters. And if you do simple numbers, I mean, think about it. If you got 1,000, followers and they spend $100 with you in a year, you just made what, $100,000?
Crazy.
It's not as hard as people think. They just make it harder than what it is.
Because we see these big name people and they have these big numbers on social, and we think we have to compete with them, but if, like, one of the things I've learned from you is stay in your lane, man. Hey, build who you are, and you'll gradually expand, but stay in your lane. You're not going to be, Grant Cardone day one. I'm not going to be that big person day one, but consistent content will allow me to get my message out there, become an expert in the subjects that I want to be able to teach. And then we can add components from there. That's dope, man. So so when did you write the book, and how can people get a copy of the book?
Yeah, so I wrote it in 2015.
Oh,
right?
okay.
So it's been a while, right? So I've got an ebook that I wrote before that. Then I wrote Teach Me How to Love While What You Don't Know Will Hurt You. And I'm actually working on the third copy now, right? But if people want to get a copy, they can go to Amazon and just go to my website, exclusivethoughts.com, or go to Amazon. That's XKLUSIVE thoughts.com, and they can get a copy of it. The thing is, that same book, right, that I wrote back in like 2015 is still relevant today. But I got so many more new followers and a new audience, or built the audience, that book is still selling and serving that audience.
Dope. I cannot wait for part 3 to come out, man. Listen, I feel bad because I don't have something to hold up for your book to hold up.
I got it.
But I promise I will, besides the Spry family, I will be one of the first to cop 2 books. I'm not just gonna get one, I'm gonna get at least 2. At least 2, man.
Get you one and give another copy to somebody else.
I'm gonna give somebody else, but I'm gonna make sure they know where to buy it from, because we got to get this money too, man.
For sure.
So that's dope, man. So the book, what other entrepreneurial ventures do you have coming up?
Yeah, man. So a couple of things I'm working through right now, right? It's getting back to live events. Now that the pandemic is kind of slowed down and stuff. I used to do conversation parties all the time. And they were very good events that got people together in person talking about relationship and dating issues, right? So I want to get back live. I want to do more speaking engagements, right? So I've done a good bit of those, but I want to do more. The other thing is this course creation that I'm working through right now.
Oh, can you? Is it too early to talk about that? Because
no, it's not too early. The concepts are there. I just hadn't executed them.
Yeah. We will execute.
I mean?
But what was the concepts though?
Yeah, the concepts. So what I want to do is I always go back to just like the audience tells you what they want.
Yeah.
Right. So when you go back and look at the data and you're looking at your analytics, you're like, oh, this post did really well, or this blog did really well, or people always talk about this. They always have this question. So for me, my course will be around what are the top 5 or 6 things, probably 5, that consistently come up, right? The questions that people consistently ask around relationships, dating, or marriage, whatever it is. Then we take that, and I'm going to give them content or over X amount of days
Yeah.
or webinars or whatever it is, the way I decide to do it. And I'm going to say, here's the content to help you with that problem. How can I help solve that problem? Right? That's all I'm going to do. It's not like something that's like it's so out of this world. It's just a matter of, here's the questions you have. I have the expertise in this. Let me serve it to you.
Let me give you this 5-day course for X99, and you can be a part of this. That is, I don't think people understand. So let me tell you, I've never been a in front of the camera type person. I've never really been in, like, I don't do social media that often. I do now. I'm a big believer in it now, but I do now. But I say that to say that I had to take a class, a 5-day challenge, and I'm gonna shout out David Shands right now, man. And I'll put his link and information down below. But Dave Shands, man, he is a big podcaster, and he had a 5-day challenge. And during that 5-day challenge, man, he kind of broke it down into how to start your podcast, how to market your podcast, how to monetize from your podcast. And from that, this idea was created. The TheIntroEntre was created, and it served the purpose for me because I've always wanted to show people that you don't need a suit and tie to be an entrepreneur. I used to think that, before I actually I didn't grow up with entrepreneurs in my family or had access to touch an entrepreneur, or what I thought was an entrepreneur, when I was growing up. So obviously, I got a lot of my information from, TV. YouTube wasn't as big, especially when, we were younger. So, and we didn't have social media, so we weren't able to connect to people all around this world. So, me growing up and thinking what entrepreneurship is, somebody with a tie all the way up here and, and a vest on. And, I had to be a part of a briefcase, and I had to be a part of a community that I just didn't come from. Like I had to change up everything. Like I had to change up the way that I talk, the way I walk around and my, whatever. But no, if there's one thing that I can get people to understand is there's a community for whoever you are in entrepreneurs. I'm a big burly country talking dude, and there's a community for me to be an entrepreneur. You don't have to listen, you have to be your best self. You have to be your best self. But your best self doesn't mean you have to change who you are, man. So I say all that to say, man, if it wasn't for the people that I found on social media, David Shands, Troy Spry, and we didn't find you on social media, but I'm a very big, ingester of your content, because I learned so much from you, man. So I challenge everybody. Once Troy has the space available to teach you, I challenge everybody to go, and if that's the lane you want to be in, go to his course and learn something. You learn something from everybody, man. So why not learn from a great person, a beautiful speaker, just somebody who has the knowledge and wants to teach? Because trust me, there's some people who don't want to teach, they just want the bag, man. But listen, go to somebody who you can really believe in and really wants to serve your best interest, man. That's dope, man. That's dope, man. So over the course of you writing this book, man, I don't want you to go into great lengths and details in your personal life, man, but how was your support system when you was writing this book, man? Were you able to create in this beautiful fairy tale rainbow environment, or were there obstacles that you had to overcome to get through this process?
Oh man, so here's the biggest thing, right? the cool thing about writing a book is you can do it kind of solo, right? The
Yes.
only support you really need to write it, right? Write it technically is yourself and your brain and your thoughts and your content. So that's good. So I had the support of my wife, right? Who, when I
Mhm.
need to go write, she allowed me time to go write and those kind of things,
Yes.
right? So that support was there. I didn't really need a lot of other people's support to do it. But here's the hard part about it. You think that just because you wrote something, people are proud of you to accomplish it,
Yes.
right?
You
They're
think.
proud of you to do it, right? When they can say, "Oh, I know that person," that doesn't mean always mean they're gonna buy it and support it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see what I mean? There's a difference. That's why sometimes the people closest to you aren't necessarily your biggest fans, right? You got a lot of things that go on there. There's envy. There's also, oh, I know that person. Why they talking about that? I know them on a different level. Like
Yeah.
they feel like you can't tell them nothing because y'all grew up together or whatever it is. So those aren't always the people that are your tribe.
Yeah.
Your tribe a
Yeah.
lot of times are the people out there who love
Yeah.
your content. So I would say the challenge comes in when you market it, right? So you think, oh, I did all this work, people just gonna flock to it. Then you realize real fast,
It ain't gonna happen. Not like that, huh? Not that
not like
easy.
not only if you're like a big name celebrity
Oh, of
and you got
course.
clout like that, then people buy just because you exist. That's
Exactly.
one thing. For the average people like me and you, we got to market that book.
We have to. We have to. We have to. And that's why I really am a strong believer in podcasts, man. Podcasts, you can get your name out there, go have a friendly conversation like this and get all the things that you want to get out on the podcast, before social media, man. Man, I just imagine that legwork that had to go on. You
Yes.
talking about, actually physically jumping in a car, going to a place, speaking in front of people that, and there might be 5 people in the room.
Absolutely.
You might drive 6 hours to get in front of 5 people in a room, man.
And then you're knocking on doors.
And knocking on doors, man. So, the power of this platform that is called social media, and you got different kinds. You got Facebook, you got, all these different things to be able to go out and get your message. I hope these kids nowadays understand that social media is a content creator. It's a place where you go to share your content. Now, the content that I've been seeing them share is not in a business fashion.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can help curve that a little bit. And I know it's not going to happen. It's entertainment for a lot of people, man. But for those who understand that they can put some information on social media, you're going to have to work, get it out there, consistently put out great content to get your information out there. But the good part of it is, unless you're paying for ads, it's free. It's free. And you can reach people anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world.
It's powerful.
Listen, I don't think people understand the power that you have that is just in the palm of your hand.
Yeah.
You go on your phone, you can go live, you can do all these things, man, and just throw it on social media, man. Man, if I was 20 in today's society, man, I would probably be in trouble because I would be doing a lot of craziness. I'd be 20. But then if I had to understand that social media is a marketing tool, crazy. Running the bag up.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Absolutely. That's what, and so like that's the so I had a long night last night.
That's cool, man. Trust me. I got 3 kids. I had a long one too, man.
But man, that's the thing. They have such access, right? These young folks, they have access to so much information, right? With so little effort to get it. That's why I can't stand when they play dumb. Like, you can literally go and learn anything that you want to learn in one click of a button, right? You can learn. You got to want the knowledge. And then you have to have the wherewithal or the grit to execute. Right. That's the biggest thing.
What do you think is going to be your biggest gap? Because you have a beautiful daughter, and my son is asking me every day to come over there and play. But what do you think by the time she is jumping on social media, what do you think the biggest gap is going to be for you to kind of teach her how to navigate through the social media world?
Man, I think not. It's a good question. That's a really good question. I think the hardest part is going to be helping her to understand that nothing is an overnight success, right? Because social media makes people believe that there's no grind in between.
Exactly.
Right? They make people believe I just got to show up, get in front of a camera, and now all of a sudden I make a lot of money.
Exactly.
And they really have, like, we had the honor of seeing our elders have to actually work, trade time for dollars, grind and all this other kind of stuff, right? Yep. Have some discipline and all that. They really, by the time my daughter's older, she not even gonna know what it's like to go to a library and get a book.
Exactly.
Or to research something in a book, like to have to actually write a paper or knock on a door and make yourself uncomfortable, those kind of things. So that's gonna be the hardest part, is helping her like gain grit, but also take advantage of the technology.
But see, we're gonna be so, I know you might not be, but my kids are already smarter than me, man. But we're going to be like so removed from whatever the new hottest thing is when they're, of age to jump on social media. So that's going to probably be my biggest hurdle. Like, how do I teach him to navigate through these different platforms? I think for me, I just have to stick to the basics. Hey, don't go on these such and such sites. You need to be focused when you're on here. Let's limit the time of BSing around while you're on social media. Yes, is for you to connect and see different things. I get that, but a lot of this content is just is fake, first of all. Yes. So how do you siphon through all the fakeness to get the information that you need? So if I stick to the basics and trying to teach them, hey, this is for informational purposes for the most part, for you to get, your stuff out, don't succumb to the bullshit and stay focused when you're on there. I think we're going to raise some decent kids, man. I think so, man.
Oh yeah.
I think so, man.
They'll be fine.
I think so, man.
They're gonna teach us so much stuff, man.
Oh,
they're gonna teach us about entrepreneurship stuff that we didn't know.
I cannot wait. Listen, the day he comes and knocks, all my kids, the day they come and knock on my door and say, "Daddy, let me show you this," I'm gonna be right there. Like, what? Show me. Let me see. Because man, these kids, man, they the future, man, and they, like I said, unless we gotta pass it down to them at some point and just let them go at some point, man.
Let them roll with it.
Exactly, man. So, man, I'm gonna wrap things up, man, and I want to say thank you for jumping on the pod. But before I give you my little 10-second spiel, man, can you tell everybody like how to get in contact with you, like follow all your pages on social and anything else you want to tell the people?
Yeah, man. I think so. Two things I want to tell people that you are serving. So like new entrepreneurs out there. Right. So the two things is, number one is consistency is key.
I love
right.
That.
So consistency is key. Even in seasons where you feel like no one's watching, you never know who's watching. Right. And what they're watching for is to see if you are consistent, to see if they can take you seriously.
Yes.
Right. So that's number one. And number two, authenticity is everything.
Dope.
Right. So we gotta be authentic in our businesses. We still have to be professional.
Oh, for sure.
But people are gonna buy from you because they connect with you. Right. I call it a connection economy. That's what we're in now, right? Since we're not necessarily selling widgets, right?
It's people. More of a connection.
Exactly. It's a people economy, and so you got to be authentic and not be afraid to show some vulnerability in who you are and what your journey is. So those are the two gems I just want to leave people with that are starting a business, that are worried about everything being perfect and all that kind of stuff. People fall in love with the person.
They do,
right?
They do.
But you got to be consistent. You got to show it to them consistently. So that's what I would say there. Second part is where people can find me. So exclusivethoughts.com is my website. It's XKLUSIVE thoughts.com. But since everybody loves Instagram, add exclusive5. That's XKLUSIVE, the number 5. Exclusive5. Follow me there. You can find anything else.
Find all your information there. That's dope, man. So before I let Troy go, I have to tell him this, man. I'm your big bro. And what that means is I'm a little older than you. So, you know, I feel this protection that I have to give you because I'm your big bro, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you my big homie. And what I mean by that is anytime I got a question about marketing, social media, like any type of business related questions, I always come to you first, and I always get, the best of you when I come to you, man. So I really wanted to tell you how much I love you and I appreciate you. And listen, every time I see you, it's love. Our families are entwined, hopefully forever. And I really just want to say thank you, man. When I was bullshitting, and I'll tell you the truth, man. When I was bullshitting, Troy's like, hey, get off the bench, man. Let's go play, man. Come on. Let's get it, man. Get it. Start. And it don't have to be fancy. And I'm gonna give you a jewel now, man. Listen, I'm my camera that I wanted to hook on here, this wasn't working. Troy was like, he was being patient with me, man. So I just had to switch it to the camera on the computer, man. And he dug it out with me. Just that message is just telling me to start, man. I want to tell you how much I appreciate you, man. And if you was in front of me, I'd give you the biggest hug in the world, man. So hopefully the next time we see you on the pod is face to face. We're doing it over Zoom right now, but hey, I really just want to tell you how much I love you, man, and I appreciate you, man. Thank you for jumping on here, man.
That means a lot, brother. And I love you too, man. I love you too. I'm just glad you started.
Thank you, man.
I mean, to me, that's everything. I always say this, man. Don't have to be perfect. It just got to be out.
Just got to be out. Just start.
Just start, man. And you'll start to realize that the journey teaches you a lot of what you need to know.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like I look at when I first started back in like 2012, 13. And the content there is not nearly as good as it is now. But it was a journey that the audience came through, and they rode with me because I was authentic. So
it was authentic, man.
Same thing gonna happen with you, man. You're gonna have the biggest podcast there is.
Thank you, man. Hey, listen, I'm glad I'm sucking the day so I can be better later, man. That's the whole thing, man. I'm glad I'm sucking the day to be better, man. And before I let you leave, before I hit cancel, man, I want you to throw me an alley so I can dunk the ball, man. And I want you to shoot me a name of somebody you would love to be on this pod, man, so I can interview them, man.
Oh, I got the perfect guess. And she gonna love it that I actually, told you about her.
Yeah.
She's my wife.
Oh, listen, you gonna let me interview Tiff?
Hey, Tiffany Spry I will tell you, she is twice the entrepreneur.
Listen, I got some words for her too, man.
She only been in business for a year.
I know.
And she is twice the entrepreneur. So she is actually the person that you're serving, like that intro entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, she's amazing. I'll tell her she needs to come on the show.
Listen, man, I appreciate that. I got some words for her too, man. Cause Troy's a beautiful person, but I can't wait till Tiff comes on so y'all can see this beautiful personality that she has. Beautiful personality, shrewd business. I ain't gonna say shrewd, but she's about business. So she can get it, man. She'll give you some gems. So, hey, Troy, man, thank you. My first guest, one of my biggest supporters, my true homie, my big homie, man. Thank you for jumping on the pod, man. I love you again, man. So I appreciate this, man. Thank you.
Hey, man, keep going, brother. Peace.
Thank you, Bubba.